There's this phenomenon that I guarantee that you have had a part in. And what it is that you're talking to someone, things are going great, or they seem like they're going great. And then things fizzle out, whether they are just not working, or you guys talk to each other and decide you're not working. Neither of you is looking for something permanent, or one of you is just not looking for something long term. Things end. You are devastated to an extent. You're checking her Instagram every day. You're checking her Snap score. You're a little bit obsessive. You're not being weird about it because you're not a stalker, but things hurt. What happens? Month passes, maybe 2 months. You move on, and the moment that you feel like you've moved on, that you're ready to go on to someone else, or even you've started talking to someone else, you get that 1 a.m. DM on Instagram, hey, and it completely derails you. You go back into spiraling, back into checking her Instagram and her stories. You're going, what is going on? I want her back now. And then she might do the same thing again and fade you again. Why does this happen? And how can we stop it from happening in the future? I'm glad you came to me instead of anybody else, because I can definitely assist you in avoiding this road hazard in the future. This is not a particularly just a woman thing to do or a man thing to do. I know personally I've done this myself in terms of reheating someone, but I'm going to be calling this microwave pizza syndrome. Microwave pizza is not good. It's disgusting, actually, but is it fine when you're drunk as shit at 2 a.m. and you want a quick snack? Yeah, it is. What do you do when you're eating microwave pizza? Why do you eat it? You eat microwave pizza because you have nothing else going on, right? There's nothing else in your life. You have no other food that you can have right now. So you decide to go and reheat a pizza and eat that at 2 a.m. in your kitchen alone, drunk off 11 Michelob Ultras. This is the same thing that happens in dating. Someone can be interested in someone else, but they seem like a little bit too much of a sure thing. They're in the freezer, more or less waiting for you to get drunk and desperate enough to actually reheat them. This has happened to me a couple times as well. I was talking to someone new a few months ago, and we were talking. Things were going great, talking every day, FaceTimed, called. We are both on the same wavelength, or, you know, communication was there. And then she ghosts. 5 days later, all of a sudden hits me up again. Hey, do you want to hang out? And I was like, where did this come from? I thought we were done. Like no communication, nothing for 5 days. Wasn't even watching my stories. The reason that this happens is because when two people are in a relationship or in a talking stage, there is always the possibility that one of you is mismatched on the wavelength that you want to be on. One of you is looking for something permanent, one of you is not. Now, here's the harsh truth. In many cases, the one who is the catch is not looking for anything permanent because they're thinking I've got pretty high stock right now. Something is better, or something better is going to come along in the future. The one who is punching up, be it man or woman, is the one who's more serious. Some people have called this first baddie syndrome, okay? And it's very normal to see a couple that's in first baddie syndrome where a guy is getting his first baddie and he doesn't know what to do. So all he does is he basically puts on a leash and a collar and does whatever she says. And in the end, many times, it doesn't even save the relationship because, frankly, that's boring. Microwave pizza syndrome is pretty pronounced. It happens a lot. It happens to a lot of different people. Why do they come back, though, when it seems like you've moved on? What happens is your lack of interest in them, no longer checking their stories, no longer DMing them, hey, hope everything's good, hope you're doing fine. They came back to you because they feel like your stock has risen a little bit. They might see you hanging out with other people, friends or other girls. They might see that you are getting more attention from other people. All of these things begin to make them feel like the relationship is equalizing. Now, this is a principle of occultism, or if you don't want to be an occultist, of Taoism. Everything, or even let's talk about the Kabbalion. Everything seeks equilibrium. Everything seeks to be equal. If you're in an unequal relationship where you feel like you're punching and you're constantly trying to get her to like you, all that's going to happen is it's going to push her away. The polarity is going to drive her away because nobody wants a slave. They don't want a jester. People might say, "Oh, I want." Girls say this a lot. I want a guy that's obsessed with me. I want a guy that's completely devoted to me. They really don't. Okay, nobody does because nobody really wants their partner to act like a dog, constantly barking, doing whatever they want, unless they're like an extreme dom. Even in that case, that's fucking boring, right? That's I don't know about you. If I'm ever watching a video the spicy video, and they start on with that like Dom shit. It fucking pisses me off. She'll be like, "You're fucking pathetic," and I'm like, "How dare you?" uh, kills the mood immediately. Maybe that's your thing. If that's your thing, go for it, man. But that's not my thing, and that's not a lot of people's thing. So the deal is, nobody really wants to be in an unequal relationship, genuinely. And what happens is the best relationships always feel, each person feels like they're like this, right? They're here. They're just a little bit lower than the other person. They have to try a little bit, but they're not feeling like they're constantly needing to prove themselves. The reason that people leave you is because you have put them on a pedestal. You pedestalized them. You acted like they were the most important thing in the world. They felt you were too secure. You're too available. You're able to be reheated at any time, and they decided to put you on the back burner, not abandon you, back burner, while they pursue someone that they like better. Does that make them toxic and evil? No, it makes them completely normal. This is something that you've probably done as well, right? You probably had a female friend at some point that had a major crush on you, and you knew that they had a major crush on you, and you might not have been like completely repulsed by them, and you just thought, you know what, they're going to be here forever. They're always going to have that little bit of a crush on me. I can chase other girls, chase other paths, and wait, and eventually maybe come back to them. And they'll still be there, right? What are they going to do? Fall out of love with me? Look at me, okay? You've done this too. So this is a very normal thing to do. How do we fix it? Well, we're going to talk about two parts, right? Number one, how do you fix it in the first place? The first thing that you can do, the way you can stop someone from ghosting you, from freaking out and leaving you, or treating you like a microwave pizza, is by not pedestalizing them. What you need to understand is something called the let them mentality. Now, you've probably seen this on TikTok, but if you haven't, it's okay. The let them mentality says if they're going to leave, they're going to leave anyway. And it's not going to be because you took 30 minutes to respond instead of 5. It's not going to be because you didn't take them out 6 times a week and you only took them out 3 times. The let them mentality basically says if it's meant for you, it will happen. If it's not meant for you, it won't happen. And it is what it is either way. This is the best remedy, the best heuristic for solving pedestalizing. Because here's the thing, you are a nice, kind young man or young woman, and you have been raised to say that you want to treat everyone the way they want to be treated. This is much more common if you have a little bit of autism, and that's okay. Because you think, oh, I have my phone in my hand. They just messaged me. I want to respond right away because I like them, right? Now, I'm not saying to play games, and this is not going to be a channel where I ever tell you to play games. But what I am saying is don't stress yourself, don't bend over backwards trying to make someone happy, trying to make someone feel chaste, when all you're doing is demeaning yourself and lowering your own value. They need to be showing a little bit of reciprocal value. As long as you're keeping that polarity exactly the same amount of polarity, the same amount of tension, the same amount of energy being put into the relationship, it's going to work out great. The moment that you start to overinvest in a relationship, you're putting too much weight on a fragile structure and it collapses completely. But let's talk about part 2. You've already fucked it up once. That's fine. You're kind of a fuck up. I'm just joking. But you've already fucked it up once. They left. You came back, or they came back to you at the moment you started to move on. What do you do in that situation? Well, thankfully, it's actually pretty easy to figure out. When they come back to you in that situation, they are basically saying to you, the relationship has reset. I feel that the polarity has equalized. You're no longer chasing me, and I want that attention back again. Now, they could be serious and they could want you back, or they could just be a little bit toxic and they want the attention back. And they feel that when you're not giving them attention, when you're withholding the attention, you have raised your stock quite a bit. You're a little bit rarer, you're a little bit harder to find. So therefore, they feel like you are more valuable, and then therefore they feel okay chasing you a little bit because the polarity is tilted towards you. You're a little bit higher value, they're a little bit lower value in their mind, so they come back and they chase you. How do you keep them the second time? Well, you're in luck because it's just as easy as the first time. You need to make sure that you are not overinvesting again. In fact, the second time they come back, you need to treat them like they are a job candidate. You need to let them prove themselves to you. If this was someone who was a little bit flaky, maybe you would message them and they would message you back, a day or two later, and you were excited about them because they're hot or they're cool or they're smart or they're funny or they're interesting or they're unique, and you're okay with chasing a little bit, and then you chase too much and you drove them away. In this case, when they come back to you no matter how bad it feels, you need to make them prove themselves to you for two reasons. One, the more that you make them prove themselves to you, the more invested they're going to feel in the relationship, and it's going to kind of hold them in it. They're going to feel like, you know what? I've been chasing this guy. He's very steady, is very stable in himself. He's not chasing me back. I'm going to keep investing. And then what you do is you're back in control. You have the reins of that relationship, and you're able to kind of bring them in to the fold on your terms. Bad thing to do is if you turn around and you start chasing them back again with the same fervor that you did. Because what happens? Polarity was like this. They're trying to equalize the polarity by chasing you back. And then you overinvest again. You tilt it way, way, way in your favor. And what has happened? What happened was you immediately kill the relationship by being too available. They put you back in the freezer and they prepare for their next drought. The next time that the guy that they actually like doesn't talk to them, the next time that they have gone 3 weeks without getting hit on, whatever, they're going to come back to you for their emergency frozen pizza so that they can get some attention from you. This is one of the most annoying things to deal with when you are, in your mind, being a straightforward, kind, pleasant, and emotionally available person, and it feels like you're constantly being in this trap of chasing people who are not emotionally available. The biggest thing is that you need to go back at your core and understand why you're chasing people who don't feel emotionally available. Therapy can really help with this. Things like being an avoidant. I'm personally somewhat avoidant, and so I love chasing emotionally unavailable people because it feels safe. The moment that they return the affection, I freak out, right? Because I don't want to be like trapped in something. And so for you, you might be in the same situation. And this is going to require a little bit of soul searching because otherwise you're just going to be trapped in a series of toxic and unfulfilling relationships. But if you are 18 to 24, or even, I guess, 24 is like what, 34 in New York age, um, 18 to 34, and you feel like fucking around and having a bunch of emotionally unfulfilling toxic relationships that are enjoyable, then go for it, you know? Is that part-time model who does coke off the DJ booth at Boiler Room going to be the love of your life? No. Is she going to be fun as fuck for a whole summer? Probably. Is it fun to chase someone like that? Absolutely. Are you going to feel emotionally empty when August rolls around? Absolutely. Are you going to be watching her Instagram stories when she's on a boat in fucking Mallorca? Yeah, but comes with the territory. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you some heuristics to work through. If it didn't, I'm sorry. If you have any questions or if you'd like any topics for me to cover, feel free to leave a comment, and I will see you at some point.